Hello to all my story lovers. Welcome back in Storytime channel. I'm Pallavi reading interesting books for you. Today I'm reading chapter number 3, Food for Thought, taken from the 3000 Stitches and written by the great Sudha Murty. Now let's go to the chapter. Rekha is a very dear friend, and our families have known each other for generations. Since I hadn't seen her for a long time, I decided to visit her. I pick up the phone and dial her number. Her father, Rao, is like a father to me. Pick up the phone. Hello? We exchanged greetings, and I said, Uncle, I am coming to your house for lunch tomorrow. Her father, a botanist, was very happy. Please do. Tomorrow is a Sunday and we can relax a little bit. Don't run off quickly, he replied. In a city such as Bangalore, going from Jayanagar to Malleshwaram on a weekday usually takes a minimum 2 hours. Traveling on Sunday is much easier because it takes only half the time. When I reached her home the next day, I could smell that the lunch was almost ready, and yet the aromas wafting in from the kitchen indicated to me that the day's menu would somehow be different. None of the typical Karnataka dishes were laid out on the table, and the cuisine was in fact quite bland for my taste. I may wear a simple sari, but I am a foodie, Rekha. Is lunch specially arranged so that I don't come again? I joke. As one can with an old friend who will not misunderstand and take offense. Rekha's father laughed heartily. Well, he sighed, today is my mother's Shraddha or death anniversary. On this day, we always prepare a meal for indigenous vegetables. What do you mean by indigenous? I was perplexed. Aren't all the vegetables available in our country indigenous? Except perhaps ones like cauliflower, cabbage, and potato. Oh my god, you have just begun a wrong topic on a wrong day with a wrong person, exclaimed Rekha in mock dismay. After lunch, I think I should just leave you with my father and join you both later in the evening. This will take at least 4 hours of your time. I knew that Rekha's father was a botanist, but it was then that I realized that he was passionate about this subject. Though I had known him for a really long time, I had never seen this facet of his personality before. Probably he had been too busy during his working years while we had been too busy playing and fooling around. Is this really true, uncle? I asked. He nodded. Since I come from a farmer's family on my parental side, I have always had fascination for vegetables. I knew vaguely about the things we could grow, the seasons to grow them in, and the ones that we could not grow, including the reasons why. However, whenever I broached the subject with friends interested in agriculture and farming, I never really received a proper answer. Finally, here was a man more than willing to share his knowledge with me. I couldn't resist. You know, Rekha, I said, it is difficult to get knowledgeable people to spend time explaining their subject matter to others. Today, Google is like my grandmother. I log on to the website anytime I require an explanation of something I don't understand or want to learn about. Right now, you are logging on to an encyclopedia. Rekha smiled and glanced at her father affectionately. The conversation drifted to other subjects as we ate lunch. The meal consisted of rice, sambar without chilies, dal with black pepper and not chilies, gori kai, that is cluster beans, methi saag, cucumber raita, and rice payasam. It was accompanied by udin vada with black pepper. There was a pickle and some plain yogurt on the side too. After we had eaten this lunch well suited for someone recovering in a hospital, Rekha's father said, "Come, let's go to the garden." Rekha's family owned an old house in the corner of the street. Her grandfather had been in the British Railways and was lucky enough to buy the corner plot at a low price and had built a small home with a large garden there. In a city like Bengaluru, filled with apartments and small spaces, the garden was something of privilege and a luxury. "Uncle," I walked to the garden while Rekha took a nap. He settled himself on a bench while I looked around. It was a miniature forest with a large kitchen garden of carrots, okra, fenugreek, and spinach, each segregated neatly into sections. A few sugar canes shone brightly in front of us, while a dwarf papaya tree, heavy with fruit, stood in a corner. On the other end was a line of maize as well as flowering trees such as the parijata, the Indian coral tree, and the roses of varying colors. Uncle and auntie must be spending a lot of time here making this place beautiful, I thought. All the trees and plants seem healthy, almost as if they are happy to be here. Do you think that all the vegetables we have around us are from India? Or are they from other countries? He asked out of the blue. I felt as if I was back in school in front of my teacher. But I wasn't scared. Even if I gave him a wrong answer, it wasn't going to affect my progress report. Of course, uncle, India has the largest population of vegetarians. So, in time, we have learned to make different kind of vegetarian dishes. Even people who eat meat avoid it during traditional events such as festivals, weddings, death anniversaries, and the month of Shravana. I agree with your assessment of everything, except the most vegetables are grown in India. The truth is that the majority of our vegetables are not ours at all. They have come from different countries. I stared at him in disbelief. He pointed to a tomato plant, a creeper with multiple fruits tied to a firm bamboo stick. "Look at this. Is this an Indian vegetable?" I thought of tomato soup, tomato rasam, tomato bhat, sandwiches, and chutney. Of course it is. We use it everything single day. It is an integral part of Indian cuisine. Uncle smiled. Well, the tomato did not originate in India, but in Mexico. It made its way to Europe in 1554. Since nobody had tomatoes over there at time, they became ornamental plants because of the beautiful deep red color. At some point, there was a belief in Europe that it was good for curing infertility, while some thought it was poisonous. The contradicting perspectives made it difficult for this fruit to be incorporated into their diet for a long time. Its lack of value must have been a real push for initiating Spain's tomato festival. where millions of tomatoes are used every year to this day. A story goes that the one business savvy European surrounded his tomato plants with a sturdy, thick fence to show his neighbors that the fruits were not poisonous, but rather valuable and thus desirable. Gradually, the fruits reached India and began to be used in commercial crop thanks to its tempting color and taste. It must have come to us during the reign of the British, but today we cannot think of cooking without tomatoes. Wow, I thought. Out loud, I said, Uncle, tell me about an essential item that is used in our cooking but isn't ours. Come on, try and guess. We simply cannot cook without this particular vegetable. I closed my eyes and thought of sambar, that essential South Indian dish, and the Matar Paneer, typical of the North Indian cuisine. It took me a while to think a common ingredient, the chili. I brushed my thought away. No, there's no way that the chili can be imported vegetable. There can be no Indian food without it. I thought, Uncle, look at me. You are right. It is a chili, he exclaimed, almost as if he had read my mind. How did you know? Because people never fail to be shocked when they think of the possibility that chili could be from another country. I can see it clearly on their faces when the wheels turn inside their head. My disbelief was obvious. How could we cook without chilies? It is as important as salt in Indian cooking. There are many stories and multiple theories about chilies, Uncle said. When Vasco da Gama came to India, he came from Portugal via Brazil and brought many seeds with him. Later, Marco Polo and the British came to India. Thus, many more plant seeds arrived. The truth is that what we call indigenous isn't really ours. Think of chilies, capsicum, corn, groundnut, cashews, beans, potato, papaya, pineapple, custard apple, guava, and sapodilla. They are all from the South America. Over time, we indigenize them and learned how to cook them. Some say that the chili came from the country of the same name, while some others say it came from Mexico. According to the theory, black pepper was the ingredient traditionally used in India to make our food hot and spicy. Some scholars believe that the sole goal of the East India Company was to acquire a monopoly over India's pepper trade, which later ended in India's colonization. But when we began using chilies, we found that it tasted better than black pepper. To give you an example, we refer to black pepper as kalu mensuru in Kannada. We gave a similar name to the chili and call it mensaninkai. In Hindi, it is frequently referred to as mirchi. In the war between black pepper and chili, the former lost and chili established itself as the new prince and continues to rule the Indian food industry even today. North Karnataka is famous for its red chilies now. That much I do know, uncle. I closed my eyes and had a vision of my younger days. I remember seeing acres and acres of red chili plants during my childhood. The harvest used to take place during the Diwali season. I remember that the Badagi district was dedicated to sell of the chilies. I had gone with my uncle one day and was amazed by the mountains of red chilies I saw there. Oh, yes, you are right. Those red chilies are bright red in color, but they aren't really hot and spicy. On the contrary, chilies that grow in the state of Andhra Pradesh in the area of Guntur are extremely spicy. They are a little rounded in shape, not as deep red in color, and called the Guntur chilies. A good cook uses a combination of different kinds of chilies to make the dish delicious and attractive. Now that's what I call indigenous. There were also two other kinds of chilies in our farm. One was a chili called Gandhar or Ravana chili that grows upside down, and the other one, of course, was capsicum. Uncle nodded. Capsicum in India is nothing but green or red bell pepper in the West. But if you eat one tiny Ravana chili, you will have to sit in the bathroom with your backside in pain and drink many bottles of water for a long, long time. Or you will have to eat 500 grams of candies, sweets, or chocolates. We both laughed. Hearing the laughter, Rekha's mother came and joined us. Are you folks joking about today's menu? I'm sorry that there wasn't much variety. When I heard that you were coming for lunch, I told Uncle to inform you that today's food was going to be bland and that you could come another Sunday. But he said that you are like family and wouldn't mind at all, she said to me. That sparked my interest. Tell me the reason for the bland food, Auntie. We have a method to the madness, I guess. During the death anniversaries, we do not use vegetables or spices that have come from other countries. Hence, we use ingredients like fenugreek, black pepper, and cucumber, among others. Our ancestors were sacred of using new vegetables and named these imports Vishwamitra Srishti. This was the first time that I heard of such a thing. What does that mean? Auntie settled into a makeshift chair under the guava tree. The story goes that there was a king called Trishanku who wanted to go to heaven along with his physical body. With his strong penance and powers, the sage Vishwamitra was able to send him to heaven. But the gods pushed him back because they were worried that it would set a precedent for people to come in with their physical bodies. That was not to be allowed. Vishwamitra tried to push Trishanku upwards, but the gods pushed him down. Like a game of tug of war. In the end, Vishwamitra created a new word for Trishanku and called it Trishanku Swarga. He even created vegetables that belonged neither to the earth nor heaven. So, vegetables like eggplant and cauliflower are the creations of Vishwamitra, which must not be used at a time such as a dear one's death anniversary. Silence fell between us, and I pondered over Auntie's story. After a few minutes, I saw Rekha coming towards us with some bananas and oranges and a box of what seemed to be dessert. Come, she said to me, have something. The banana is from our garden, and the dessert is made from homegrown ingredients too. You must be. Uncle interrupted. Do you know that we make so many desserts in India that aren't original to our country? Appa, tell her the story of guava and the banana. I really like that one, Rekha said. She smiled as she handed me banana. Uncle Green, please to impart some more knowledge. The seeds of guava came from Goa, he said. So some people say that's how it was named. In Kannada, we call it Perala Hannu because we believe that it originated in Peru, South America. Let me tell you a story. Durvasa was a famed short-tempered sage in our Asian epics. He cursed anyone who dared to rouse his anger. The sage was married to a woman named Kandili. One day, she said to him, "O sage, people are terribly afraid of you while I have lived with you for such a long time. Don't you think I deserve a great boon from you?" Though Durvasa was upset at her words, he did not curse her. He thought seriously about what she had said and decided that she was right. "I will give you a boon, but only one. So think carefully," he said. After some thought, she replied, "Create a fruit for me that is unique and blessed with beautiful colors. The tree should grow not in heaven but on earth. It should have the ability to grow easily everywhere in our country. It must give fruits in bunches and for the whole year. The fruit must not have any seeds and must not create a mess when we eat it. When it is not ripe, we should be able to use it as a vegetable. Once it is ripe, we should use it while performing pujas. We must be able to use all parts of the tree." Durvasa was surprised and impressed at the number of specifications his wife was giving him. He was used to giving curses in anger and then figuring out their solutions once he had calmed down. But this seemingly simple request was a test of his intelligence. No wonder women are cleverer. Men like me get upset quickly and act before fully thinking of the consequences, he thought. The sage prayed to Goddess Saraswati to give him the knowledge with which he could satisfy his wife's demand. After a few minutes, he realized that he would be able to fulfill his wife's desire. Thus, he created the banana tree, which is found all over India today. Every part of the tree, the leaf, the bark, the stem, the flowers, and its fruits are used daily. Raw banana can be cooked while the ripe banana can be eaten easily by peeling off its skin. It is also an essential part of worship to the gods. The fruit is seedless and presents itself as a bunch. A mature tree lives for a year and smaller saplings are found around it. Kandili was ecstatic and named the plant Kandari. She announced, "Whoever eats this fruit will not get upset, despite the fact that it was created by my short-tempered husband." Over a period of time, people started using the banana extensively and love it. Slowly, the name Kanderi changed to Kadari, and the banana came to be known as Kadari Phala in Sanskrit. Uncle took a deep breath at the end of his story. I smiled, amused at the story that seemed to result from fertile imagination. I had a strong urge to grab a banana and took one from the plate in front of me. You may have given me bland food today, I said, but I really want some dessert. Rekha opened the box. It was filled with different varieties of sweets. I saw gulab jamuns, jhanjari, a deep-fried flour-based dessert, and gulkand, a rose petal-based preserve. I can't resist gulab jamun, so I immediately picked one up and popped it into my drooling mouth. It was soft and sweet. What a dessert, I remarked, amazed at how delicious it was. Nobody can beat us when it comes to Indian desserts. I don't know how people can live in the other countries without gulab jamuns. Wait a minute! Don't make such a sweeping statements, said Rekha. Gulab jamun is not from India. Yeah, right, I said, not convinced at all. Before she could stop me, I grabbed another gulab jamun and gulped it down. I'm serious. A language scholar once came to speak in our college. He told us that apart from English, we use multiple Persian, Arabic, and Portuguese words that we aren't even aware of. Gulab jamun is a Persian word and is a dish prepared in Iran. It became popular in India during the Mughal Reign because the court language was Persian. The same is true for jhangri, which is kind of ornament worn on the wrist, and the jhanjari design resembles it. You will now tell me that even Gulkand is from somewhere else. I complained loudly. She grinned. You aren't wrong. Gulkand is a Persian word too. Gul is nothing but rose and kand means sweet. Gul, in fact, originates from the word gulab, that is rose. My brain was thoroughly exhausted with all this information. When I saw the oranges, I said with pride, I will not call this an orange now, but its Kannada name Narangi. Uncle cleared his throat. Narangi is an Indian word, but it does not originate in Karnataka. It is made up of two words, nar, matlab orange or color of the sun, and rangi means color. The conversation was leaving me feeling truly lost. When people stay in one place for some time, he continued, they will unknowingly absorb the culture around them, including their food and language. At times, we adapt the changes into our local cuisine and make it our own. That's exactly what happened with the foods we have discussed. I glanced at my watch. It was time for me to leave. I thanked them profusely, especially Uncle, for enlightening me in a way that even Google could not. There was a huge traffic jam despite it being a Sunday evening as I set out for home, but I wasn't bored on the way. In fact, I was happy to recollect Uncle's words and perhaps as a result, suddenly remembered an incident. My mother had two sisters. Though all three sisters were married to men from the same state, their husbands' jobs were in different areas. One lived in South Karnataka, in the old Mysore state. My parents live in Maharashtra, and third stay in the flatlands in a remote corner of Karnataka. After their husbands retired, the three sisters live in Hubli in the same area. It was fun to meet my cousins every day and eat meals together. We celebrated festivals as a family, and the food was cooked in one house. Though everybody bought home cooked desserts for their own houses. During one particular Diwali, we had a host of delicacies. My mother made puri and shrikhand, a popular dish in Maharashtra made from strained yogurt and sugar. My aunt from Mysore made kishmish kheer and a rice based main course called BC Bele Anna, while other aunt made groundnuts based sweet such as jaggery based sticky chicky and ball shaped laddus. As children, my cousins and I had plenty of fun eating them, but in the car, I realized for the first time that all the sisters had absorbed something from the area that they had lived in. Despite their physical proximity, the food in each household was so diverse. I couldn't help but wonder how exciting the food really must be in the different regions of India. I thought of paneer pizzas, cheese dosas, and the Indian Chinese food. They must have originated the same way. Who really said that India is a country? It is a continent, culturally vibrant, diverse in food, and yet distinctly Indian at heart. Do you like this chapter? Then tell me in the comment box and subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching, guys.